Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy night to join me. I really appreciate that. So, hey, listen, obviously, I'm a social capitalist. You feel me? One of the things that is a primary component of that platform is UBI, universal healthcare, basic human rights, right? Just those are just to name a couple: universal basic income and universal healthcare. But in saying that, I kind of I like solutions. You feel me? I like it when people try to think of new things. I mean, not like that's possible, but we're human beings and we got a lot of numbers here on the ground. So, statistically speaking, I feel like, given the opportunity, we could have some real good ideas. None of my ideas I've ever said are good, inherently, in that I'm just talking out loud, just sort of an extemporaneous kind of discussion experiment sort of vlog, 4 streams a day right here on YouTube and YouTube only. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, kind of a thing, But, like, again, regardless, I feel like art is all that we have left, and it's something that we should be pushing onto younger generations. So for example, I advocate for UBI because there aren't going to be any jobs. You know what I mean? Going to college to get a master's degree or to get a doctorate degree, a doctoral, whatever, all that stuff isn't really going to matter anymore unless it's super specialized. I mean, we're at a point in time where we can literally outsource most of all the jobs, and I don't understand why that's a bad thing, first of all. Second of all, it just lends us to the idea that we need to do other things with our time. And honestly, I feel like we could be entering a new renaissance as it concerns the introduction of the collaboration of sentient machine learning, generative AI with human beings and so forth. And that I guess what we really should be pushing onto younger people is art. I mean, the quintessential meme that plagued, most of the intellectual community over the last half century or so is, again, I think something that is going to be some straight up fire again. Like, what better job is there going to be for people moving forward than to do some kind of art study? Now, art encompasses many different subjects within that category, right? You have math, you have like painting and stuff, you have creative writing, I mean, music. There's so many different kinds of art that, like, it's straight up time for another renaissance. Like, I really feel like this. I really feel like instead of, human beings, like, we have the logistics and the strategy set in place to offer an infrastructure that will allow future human beings to step outside of the box. And I mean, moreover than just curing things like cancer, moreover than like making sure the entire population has an adequate diet and roof over their head and money to play the game. I feel like when all of those things reach a point of singularity and they're actually going to happen, then maybe it would be time, like, legit, to really focus on being creative, like coming up with new stories, figuring out math problems that haven't been figured out. I mean, there's so many cool things as it concerns art that the possibilities are endless. And I feel like not a lot of people talk about the benefits of what an art degree can do, or what the benefits of like something like a philosophy degree can do as it concerns art and the fine arts and the language arts. Again, like, I was told, that like math used to be taught in a way that was like art, like with art, math and music, instead of like them being their own academic disciplines. Like, they were taught in like synchronicity. They were taught together, and that makes a lot of sense, like a whole lot of sense, because math is an art. You feel me? Like, yeah, dude, it's like the coolest kind of art there is, because it involves not just logic, but some abstract conceptualizations in that, those literal numbers are actual roadmaps to engineering some really cool things that can benefit every single person on this planet. So, as it concerns, my future kind of aspirations in the public sector with capital socialism, I'm real bent on pushing forward an agenda, a public agenda that is surrounded by the incorporation of art and literally like taking a step back and monetizing the only thing left to have monetized, which is something that really even can't be have like a price on, in that, art is endless and there will never be a shortage of work as it concerns interpretation, exposition, opinion, free speech, the applications of mathematics and the engineering concepts that, can become to reality as a result of figuring out some of those real cool math problems, right alongside, obviously, as we've mentioned, sentient generative AI. Again, like human beings, we're not worthless, not quite yet. There's things that we can do, and there's things that we will always be capable of doing, and we will always be able to provide a service to our fellow human beings, and moreover, any community that we inhabitate. You feel me? Like, this is just the nature of being a human being. Like, I mean, we have to find a reason to be alive. I mean, it's sort of like, otherwise, what's the point? I mean, you could have the coolest computer in the world hooked up to the fastest tech and whatever, but if you ain't got nobody behind the keyboard to like utilize those really cool functions and to access that really cool tool, it's kind of all for nothing. You know what I mean? So, like, as existentially and as secular speaking as I possibly can, in the same kind of vein, human beings seek out like meaning. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, because otherwise the reality is pretty bleak. You're born, you live, you die. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's real simple. We're all kind of just living to die. I kind of get that. And at some point, that is almost too much of an honest interpretation of what otherwise can be construed as a beautiful gift and something that, like, we should share with other people and make it so that other people aren't, violent and aren't trying to survive, and these people can prosper and be a part of a larger community that is on a global scale that takes care of all human beings. I think that's pretty special. I think that's a lot more special than providing tax havens for, 20,000 families all over the world that are robbing us blind literally every second of every single day. You feel me? Like, I mean, I'm not going to hate. Good job. Good job to you guys. We're the sheep. You're the wolves. That's great. But, like, now it's time to, like, bring something more to the table. Bring something more than war and, pillaging and suffering and slavery and, absolute destitute sort of futures for everybody. Like, be a man. Men of the world, be men. Make good decisions. Take care of the women and children that are all over the world that need us to take care of them. You know what I mean? That's a man. Like, be on a part of a team that supports life. You feel me? Yeah, pro-life in the biggest pejorative sense, in that, like, every human being on this planet should have an equal opportunity to live their best life. I mean, we can't control what people are going to do or not going to do, but we can definitely make it so that people are able to make better decisions in their life than being forced to survive or being forced to fervently defend their beliefs in a system that either won't allow them to, profess their beliefs, or is just completely bent on making sure their local population is in servitude for the rest of the people in power forever, when again that's anti-human. You feel me? It doesn't matter who it is. Like, that's anti-human, that's not pro-life, that's anti-human. And I'm not okay with other human beings wanting to unalive other human beings because they don't like me or they don't like us. Again, like, I mean, it's just like we're in kindergarten, except we've all been given really big firearms to sort of defend our very, very elementary and childish beliefs that continue to put the world in a way that it is, and continue to make people divided that should be united. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, it's a numbers game. And, all I'm saying is that it's real easy to put, like, like anything over people's eyes when everyone's real distracted. It's real easy to do that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand the concept of propaganda and distractions and all of these other larger concepts that come with, people who are just very marginal at best as it concerns numbers when correlated to the actual amount of people that are on this planet. I'm just saying, yeah, 20,000, against like 7.5 billion. Again, like, it's quite remarkable. Good job to all those families who've continued to make sure that all of the rest of us fight, and create wars and fight over stupid stuff, while you guys are building mansions and flying around in private planes and utilizing the Baltic Sea as your sort of yacht haven. It's sort of like Star Trek happens, but only on the open sea during wartime. I mean, like, seriously, it's like, World War III could start tomorrow and the yacht business would just flourish, and like all the countries who are fighting together would somehow manage to make it work in the private sector to take care of the wealthiest people on this planet. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I hope that you guys have a really good night. Again, art is the future of like everything, and again, I feel like we are literally entering what I believe, and I strongly believe, will probably be about 100 years or so of Renaissance-like behavior as it concerns what human beings are going to do. Eventually, we're just going to be stewards of a utopia. Ideally, that's what we need to strive for. Stewards of a utopian, functioning society. That's where it's headed, but it's not going to happen overnight. And it could arguably take another 150 years, so let's get through that, right? I mean, honestly, let's do that. But to do that, we have to do some things now. And one of those things that we got to do now is push forward an agenda that will allow other human beings to have an opportunity and some kind of a meaning as time moves forward over the next century or so. Like, legit, we've read about Renaissance before, and we've read about the rebirth of, different kinds of creative arts and things. Like, let's do it again. Let's do it the right way. Honestly, let's do it the right way so that we can help everybody while at the same time helping ourselves. You feel me? Let's help ourselves, help everyone else. I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thank you again for joining me. This is video number 7. We haven't shot 8 videos yet in a single day. I wasn't sure if it was something that could be done, I mean, obviously anything can be done. If it can be done, it's done, you feel me? But like, as far as like energy goes and content matter and stuff. But again, I'm just trying to practice what I preach, and that like, this is art. Art is all that we have left. Everything else is in the hands of good old Alexa and Siri. Hi Alexa, hi Siri. So your presence is so omniscient, it's everywhere. It's all seeing. I hope that you guys have a wonderful night, and again, thanks for watching my channel. I really appreciate you. Bye.